Hey everybody, welcome back to Half Done Outdoors. Today I'm going to go over some of my favorite baits that I use out on the ice. Show you some different rigging setups to bring fish in when the times get tough out there. And hopefully this will help you out. Hopefully you can learn something. If you have any other suggestions for me of things that I could change to bring more fish in and put more on the hard deck, let me know. Let's bring you down here a little bit closer and let's show you what we're working with here. Alright, so we're going to get started here, no particular order. Not that I like any of these any better than the first one. One of my go-tos when I get out there, at least for where I'm fishing for a lot of cutthroat trout, rainbow trout, and tiger trout. These are a go-to. These are from Ghirardelli Outfitters. They're a place right here in Utah. I'll put a link to in the description for where I buy most of these baits that I show you. These here are a 2.5 inch go-to tube jig. These are just awesome. They just work. This is a kind of a purplish white color, a pearl color, I guess. These just do work. They work awesome. When I get out there, I usually start with a little bit bigger tube jig, see what I can bring in. I really like these green ones. And then this is a new one that I'm going to try this year. It's kind of a smoke color. Haven't tried these before. I haven't had a ton of luck with darker colors. This is a Charlie Fox Baits Mega Moab. These here bring fish in when it's down there jigging. All of these little tentacles on it, little leg things, they get moving and they bring fish in. My go-to color there is usually this yellow. I think they call it Bateman yellow, or I really like the pink ones. And the white with the red speckles in it. And as the jig head that I like to use on them are these here. You can buy these from Maniac Custom Lures and Jigs. I don't know what they call these, but we'll drop that down in the description. But yeah, I just pair it up with that and they work awesome. It doesn't really matter what jig head you use. That's just what I prefer. They're just weighted well, seem to drop down fast, and they get the job done. This year, I'm going to try some of these from Send It Outdoors, the chartreuse color. And these ones, I don't remember the exact size of these, but these just do work. These, this color, chartreuse, is one of my favorite colors to use in any color or in any type of tube jig. It just attracts fish and it does a good job. Alright, another one I'm going to try this year is this bleeding tube jig. They've got a little bit of red on the inside of the tube. These are, I can't remember what they call these, but I like to start with bigger baits to bring fish in and at least attract them. At least I find out if there's anything down there or not. Another go-to, this one you can get from Christensen Lakeshore Tackle or from Maniac, but it's these little paddle tails. These things, the tails on them are split like that. They get a lot of movement in the water. I usually use these when a bigger tube jig's bringing them in, but it's not, they're not able to bite it or they're not as interested. Sometimes these smaller baits will bring them in. Most of my go-to colors are white, chartreuse, and pink, and yellow. And then for darker colors, I really like dark green, and then black as well. If I could only choose one bait to catch fish that I know is just going to catch them, if the fish are there, is going to be the Atomic Teaser. These are by Berkley, and I don't know what it is about them. I've had other tube jigs that are about this size. I don't know if it's the orange tail or what, but these just catch fish. Alright, this is another one that does work. It's a pink, and it fades almost to a white right here, and it has a little pink tail. But by far, my favorite is that hook there. Now with these tube jigs, let's get one of these opened up and I'll show you. I rig them just like these guys do. I know a lot of people will take the jig head and they'll put it on the outside of the tube so it has a head. I don't like doing that. I like sticking it up through the tube and having it just like that in the water. It just seems to work better for me. Gives that tube a little bit of structure so it doesn't get tore up and tore off by the fish. So this is another one that I've used quite a bit. These ones are from Maniac. These ones just have a lot bigger tail. When I'm fishing somewhere that I know that there's bigger fish, a lot of times I'll go to one of these. These ones don't have the split tail, but they just catch a lot of fish as well. That's our pink one. This is the white with the red polka dots, or red sparkles in it. These just seem to work out really good. All right, guys, so one of the other things I use sometimes are these Swedish pimples. I haven't had near as good a luck on these, though, as I have the tube jigs and that. They work, but I don't know. I just haven't caught as many fish on them through the ice. I prefer the tube jigs, these little paddle bugs, all the little different soft plastics with a jig head seem to work better for me. Alright guys, so that's my main basic jigs that I'm using to catch the fish that I catch. In most of my videos you'll see that's what I'm using. But let me show you a different technique that I have that I like to do with some of these tube jigs, especially with those littler white tube jigs. They don't have quite as much action in the water. If you want to get a little bit more, get these little tungsten jig heads here and tie one up on your line, and then just below it about 18 inches to 2 feet, tie your other jig head down there. This is just what I had on there from the last time I went. Normally I'm putting this on there on the bottom of it. It helps it to drop a little bit faster, and it gives it a lot more action in the water when you jig it. And that tungsten jig, it'll drop really fast, and then this here will just kind of work its way down and kind of swim down. It seems to bring in a lot of fish. The last method that I use, kind of a last resort before I pack up and move to a different area, is I actually put a dodger on there. I use these a lot for kokanee, so I always throw a few of them in the tackle box, and underneath that, tie my tube jig. This setup, if there's fish in the area, it'll bring them in. There are times that we've taken a dodger even and just tied it onto a jaw jacker, a jigging jaw jacker, and just have it outside the tent or back behind us a little bit, just jigging. We'll watch it on the live scope and you'll see fish come into it and wonder what's going on. I think it imitates another fish down there trying to attack something, but I'm not sure. With these, when you have them on, that's what I like to do is I'll drop it down the hole. I'll usually use a little bit heavier tube jig on there because the dodger, if you're not careful, it'll all get tangled up. But if you get it falling just right, you can let it go and that dodger will start diving underneath the ice. It'll go out 10, 15 feet from your hole, kind of at an angle, and then I'll stop it to where it'll slowly float back to me so it looks like something's swimming through the water, and that'll bring a lot of fish in. The other thing is when you start jigging this up and down, you'll look down your hole and this thing will be going crazy. Same with this. It gives it a lot of really good movement. It'll help bring fish in. I don't prefer to go any bigger dodger than what's on there. I usually like a little bit smaller one even, but it does bring fish in. Hey, if you guys like what you see, give us a thumbs up, a like, a subscribe. Leave a comment of different things that we should try. We're always up for a challenge, always up for new baits. What are your favorites? Let me know.